Hello and welcome to Campaign Comrades, your favorite leftist gaming podcast. We are here in the chat today. We are sending blessings up to the gamer saint. Folks,
Bless up.
we're being canonized.
What's up?
Who's going to be the next? Who amongst us here is going to be the next gamer saint? What gaming miracles are you going to perform to be canonized?
I'm not gonna lie.
First Overwatch player that didn't lobotomize themselves when they quit.
That's one.
I'm not gonna lie. When I initially read about the first Millennium Saint, the gamer saint, I did think like his miracles had to do with gaming to some extent somehow. Like I was like, it has to be, right?
I hope so, but no, they're just
He became the first person to win a Fortnite Battle Royale chicken dinner without killing anyone.
Yeah, both of so the
Immaculate Dinner.
The figure in question is Carlo Cutis, who died in 2006 from, I think, leukemia.
Yeah, some sort of cancer. Fuck cancer.
Yeah, so he was known as God's influencer.
If you sit there and you're like, you stand cancer, fuck you.
Yeah, it's on site. You're consider yourself an op.
Yeah.
But he was an avid gamer, born in Milan, played Halo, Super Mario, and Pokemon. We won't hold that last one against him.
Maybe that was the miracle. Maybe it was that he maintained like good gamer qualities while being an avid Pokemon fan.
Is it a like, you know, get a little dark here? Is it a sin or a blessing that, you know, he was taken from the world before he could become a Fortnite influencer?
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say his real miracle was not having to play Fortnite.
not having to see what gaming's become.
Yeah, he was
see horse armor DLC.
He was you know, part of the base tradition, and that includes being a Catholic. He's like had two posthumous
New England moment
miracles attributed to him. Yeah, they're basically just like your run of the mill miraculous healing things, whereas somebody prayed to him apparently, and their sick child got better from some disease.
And then some girl had a serious head injury after falling off a bike in Florence, and the mother prayed for the girl's recovery at his tomb.
That's what I'm saying. That's what it is. It's like they play it. They people prayed at like his gravesite or whatever, and prayed to him, and that is what is attributed to the person.
Yeah, no, I was just pointing out the
you know, your average Catholic chicanery.
Yeah, and then a boy with a pancreatic defect was cured.
You know, I'm gonna say this is some inside baseball on behalf of the Catholic Church. They got their first IT person who was able to create a website about the saints. That's because that's what he did. He also like created a website about saints back in the day as well. While he was alive, that wasn't one of his miracles. Yeah. But this is a posthumous award for being the first guy on the internet.
Well, you have to be dead to be sainted.
Yeah, that's it.
I would just also like to point out, when you click on the website, it's a unsecured website, so Google Chrome gives you a warning.
You're getting your data stolen by the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
No, I like to assume that if, you know, we acknowledge the fact that he has to be dead to be sane, and then the Catholic Church is directly responsible for his death one way or another.
If he was truly biased, God would have saved him from that cancer.
Yeah, I mean, as the one true religion, you know, this is, you know, this is God's work through the Catholic Church. So
whenever he went to church and he was doing tithings, when they would give out the little cracker thing, they would give him one specifically laced with like uranium or plutonium.
They were Munchausen by proxying him through host.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like they need he died before, you know, the Fortnite trend, but like, you know, they needed 10
years before.
They needed, you know, the generational influencer, right? So they fudge a little bit of the
he died before influencer was coined as a term. I don't think 2006 we had
Oh,
that
for
in
sure.
our
Just because
lexicon.
the term
That was
hadn't
still
existed doesn't
paparazzi
mean that
stuff.
the idea hadn't already been there.
True. I mean, celebrities are.
You could say that the Catholic
influencers.
Church is an influencer as an organization.
Fair.
Also
Influencer of creating childhood
Empires.
trauma in many boys throughout the world.
the the other aspect of this story that I just wanted to highlight that made me kind of chuckle to myself is that his parents ended up having twins 4 years to the day after his death. And like, I just can't imagine growing up with
Welcome
a
back.
dead brother who's a fucking saint. Can you like the expectations? Oh my god.
Every time you fuck up, they start speaking in like old Italian,
Yeah.
where they're just like, "I said an opinion."
You know
Go
that
pray
there's
to your brother, bitch.
yeah, you know there's one of them that's like is trying to basically to martyr themselves to live up to the thing, and then the other one is like a goth reject.
Yeah, no,
it's just like completely
because they're twins, they're absolutely viewed as like the split personalities of their dead
Yeah.
saint brother. You know, the
Well,
good
it's
way
half,
like
the
one
bad
one
half.
is trying
Catholic
one is
man.
trying to recreate the the Catholic moments, and the other one is trying to be the gamer. Is taking on the gamer part of his identity.
Which arguably in that gothic gamer, they are taking on the Catholic as well. That is the duality of Catholicism.
Deeply
Mom finds out that he's an
ingrained
incredibly wealthy
self-hatred
influencer
and
because he's a
misery.
VTuber anime girl.
Yeah, I wonder what Pope Francis thinks of that. Seeing
Yeah.
seeing
Call me when the Catholic Church is making
one of
a
his
saint
younger
out of a
brothers being
VTuber.
a cat femboy.
I think you would
cat
have some
femboy.
choice words that are a cognate in many languages for that.
What is that? The F Fidocio word.
No, we can't say that. As I say, we can't. We
Come
can't
on.
say that. We're not allowed to say that.
I said I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Also, the other thing that was very funny to me is that there's someone making a video game about
Yes, I was
with
going to bring that
Carlo.
up. Yeah,
With Carlo traveling through
the first Catholic open world metaverse game.
Yeah,
I love it.
and
Beautiful. Is it VR?
It
I
looks
don't
like
know.
a VR game.
Not enough buzzwords.
Not yet.
I don't know, but he time travels across famous moments in Catholic history and holy sites, and among highlights,
are they doing 33 AD the video game? Because absolutely,
that would be awesome.
I'd be on board for that.
But
I mean, that is great, but I hope they throw the Crusades and some of the Inquisition.
No, they already have something better. You have to listen.
Okay,
Among other highlights, the metaverse will allow you to ski as young Pope John Paul II.
Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Oh, that's beautiful.
And you also get to cover up pedophilia.
You also get
when
to
you're
be part of the
skiing
Hitler
as young
Youth
Pope
with
John
Pope
Paul
Benedict.
II. Do you have small like children, pallbearer, whatever they're called? I don't know what the Catholic Church calls their small children that stand around.
Altar boys.
Yeah, does it come with altar boys?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Altar holes. Yeah, that's amazing.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, praise be.
Oh.
The only real true Jesus is the Mormon Jesus, so we know that.
He traveled to
America.
From America. This game though reminds me of the I Am Jesus Christ video game that I've wishlisted on Steam for years and have seen absolutely nothing about it. I want to shoot Kamehameha beams as Jesus. I can't wait.
You could just play Kakarot, and it's basically the same story.
No, I want it to be
Dragon Ball is actually coming. Is it coming to the West?
That's what it is. Yeah, it's Journey to the West. It's
Journey to the West.
Yeah, because Son Goku is literally like the Japanese version of
the Monkey King.
Oh yeah,
he's got the extendable pole.
Wukong, it's the and he is a literal monkey.
Monkey.
He's a space monkey. Yeah, but I am going to keep my eyes peeled on this video game because it looks amazing.
You'll finally find us in the metaverse when that one's
You're gonna have to wait a pretty long time though for that video game because of it's gonna probably have some pretty high paid voice actors, for such a high quality established game there. I'm not gonna be able to pay them for a little while.
lore accurate lollies.
You know who's also not getting paid what they should? Video game voice actors. And they've had fucking enough of that shit.
Yeah, hell yeah. So this is some good news in my opinion in one way or another. And that's that video game actors going on strike. They are not are they actually going on strike? They authorized the strike.
Yes, no, it's been no, the strike has officially
it's begun.
Yeah.
Okay. So it did, it went into effect 3 days prior to the release of, or 4 days prior to the release of this episode on the 26th of July. And 10 companies, we got some of the big ones: Electronic Arts, Epic Games, Take-Two, WB. So it's gonna have some impacts here, I think. And
mainly the ones with the biggest budgets.
yes, absolutely.
I'm honestly a
And
little
they're probably
surprised
the ones.
that Ubisoft is not on this.
Yes.
Just because they are remain one of the largest third party publishers.
Yeah.
It is a bit weird.
Are
not
they
to see them
trying
there.
to? But are they still trying to get AI?
You see,
voice
this
actors?
is all French propaganda.
Well, that's what I'd say. The French,
because this is the summer of France.
Yeah.
We got the French Olympics. Everything is good French PR right now. So they slipped some money and we're like, keep Ubisoft out of it. Omelette du fromage. Ha ha.
See, if Ubisoft tried to do AI voice acting, the French voice
it
actors
might improve their games.
Well, it might, but it would, they would burn Ubisoft to the ground.
For sure.
As the French
They would
love to
storm
do.
that Bastille.
Yeah, as the French love to do.
The other thing that so we touched on it a little bit, but one of their main highlights is abusing AI in game development. So positives to see that.
It's the same issues that SAG was striking for SAG and what's the Writers Guild?
The Writers Guild. It's just the Writers Guild.
The Writers Guild.
Yeah, the same reasons that they were striking a while back. But when that was happening, the voice actor part of the union was also talking similarly. But as we see here, they had been in the process of negotiating new contracts, but that had obviously
wasn't it this week or last week where Activision got caught releasing some AI made content?
Yes. And they're using generative stuff in Call of Duty, like some skins,
and
stuff.
Hilarious.
Yeah, they had an AI skin released.
Imagine spending actual money on some AI generated bullshit in a game. Not even sculpted or handcrafted for you. Literally just prompted.
Not even with good AI, it's through Canva's AI, so it comes up it's demented.
They're like, yo, give me a Gojo skin in COD, and it gives them Gojo Cleaner, the hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
So yeah, Fran Drescher, the current head of the union,
just based.
Had some good quotes. I'm trying to scrubbing through the article.
Except I can't remember if she is still a Zionist.
Yeah, probably. I'm going to assume.
Yeah. Zionist.
And did you guys see the?
Oh yeah, she's an Israel supporter. So I take back what I said that she's based. She's a bad mamma jamma. We don't like her for her Israeli support.
But she does, speak up for her workers. So that is definitely a point in her favor. There was, I forgot to find it, but there was a response by the companies. I'm gonna look it up right now. So
Just putting their fingers together and saying you're not gonna.
well, they were
You're not
saying
gonna.
something like, "Oh, we're so very disappointed that like we were when we were so close to a deal."
I mean, that's always fucking narrative. We're a family. We were trying to help out. We were giving them what we thought was best for them, and they just wanted too much. Asked too much of mom and dad.
I always love we're a family.
Yeah,
I see how you treat your family.
we are disappointed the union has chosen to walk away when we are so close to a deal, and we remain prepared to resume negotiations.
So,
The
speaking
perform-
as a lawyer here, I love being gaslit by the other side. It's one of my favorite things about my profession. I love when other sides try to gaslight, the judge or whoever
Well, yeah,
happens
they're
to be the
definitely trying to
audience.
target the people who weren't in the negotiations. They're trying to be like, hey, like you're going to be losing out on money because we were so close, but your side couldn't come to the final agreement.
Well,
Like trying to chip away at the bottom of your group.
Yeah, and it's such a bad faith like negotiating tactic that gets disguised as like something that's benign. When like what Matt pointed out, it's exactly what they're trying to do is like, hey, we might not offer you this, or you may get less than what we had put on the table. So we may continue withholding. We may be petty.
It's also a matter of optics, right? It's being like it's trying to be like, oh, we're so magnanimous.
They're taking control.
It's trying to be like that that union leadership. They're the bad actors here.
Yeah.
That that we have your best interest at heart.
They just want their
don't.
dues. They want to they want to win for themselves. They want to make a name for themselves. They don't care about you. They're not part of your family. We are.
Sick of
It's
greedy,
just also
corrupt
controlling the
union
narrative.
bosses.
Yeah, man. They're so greedy and corrupt, those bastards. Just wanting workers to get, more rights.
This is great. So the industry. So this is also about like, all video game performers, not just voice actors. So, motion capture artists as well. Like the industry has told us point blank that they do not necessarily consider everyone who is rendering movement performance to be a performer that is covered by the collective bargaining agreement. That they relate some physical performances are being treated as data.
Oof. Fuck.
Dude, what a spin. That's incredible. Dude, the person that came up with that idea is just jacking themselves off into like perpetuity.
Stunt performer dies in the data.
Yeah. So yeah, we don't have to pay for accidental death or like that was just data. That wasn't a person. They were operating as just computer points.
We can still use that capture footage, as authentic enemy ragdoll physics.
Even more authentic.
Yeah. Yeah. So solidarity with the striking actors as they continue to fight for their rights.
You're saying solidarity, but this means games are going to not come out, and I'm going to miss out on stuff as a real gamer. That doesn't sound good to me as a gamer.
Well, as a gamer, you could be sure there was some exceptions and carve-outs to that strike authorization, and so you still will be getting your games. And most notably, a game we've all been waiting 13 years for, 12 years for.
The fact that you can't remember and it's over 10 years is kind of sad, when it used to be like, hey, new GTA every 2 years.
I do think that some vigilante would have gone to like the SAG headquarters and done a stand your ground thing if someone had if they had delayed GTA, some basement dweller would have been
Showed up with a nail
tried
gun.
to make that argument that it was stand your ground. Somehow they would make that argument.
They would break in, claim squatters' rights, and then
it's castle doctrine. I own this basement.
But yeah, so there
maybe
were,
scream something about sovereign citizenship, because that seems like the type
of course, that's a given. But yeah, so Grand Theft Auto is one of the notable games in development that is not subject to this strike, even though Take-Two, right there, Take-Two, yeah, Take-Two is
I think the
parent
date
company of
cutoff they
Rockstar.
gave is too lenient and lame.
Yeah, I think
it's not even a year. It's not even a year ago. It's September 2023. Any game.
I think maybe they should have done it where it was like anything that's releasing in the next year can finish its release or something like that.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's a lot of carve outs, or there will be arguments for carve outs for shit that like was barely
Dude,
in
I'm
development.
immediately going, if I was after September 2023, and like doctoring some document that shows like creative assembly before September 2023.
And I'm sure that they would do that, and the NLRB does not have the capabilities of looking at metadata.
Some crazy picture of you with like a newspaper from like July 2023 with your watch on that has the exact date like right on your watch face as you're like writing the documents, and it's like, so proud of my husband starting his dream.
But yeah, I agree that the cutoff is a weird spot.
It's lame.
I mean, yeah, I've heard some people trying to argue around it, being like, it's more about setting up the, and putting, the workers in a better position for like the next, when I say generation here, I'm not saying like console generation, but like, the next slate of games in development, whereas not, punishing the games that are already being that are slated for release. But like in my mind, I'm not obviously a labor activist, so I don't know what their strategic thinking is here. But from like a layperson's point of view, you'd think like, oh, wouldn't you want to put more direct time sensitive pressure on these companies, like that this gives the bosses and management more time to circle the wagons to firm up their institutional strength, if we're talking about games that like are in early phases of production that are allowing, I guess so. This was the argument that I saw. It was like people are like, oh, it's like if you are impacting games that are like currently so close to development, it's not just the performers that are going to be affected. It's that there are other workers to think about.
But like that you want to get those other workers on board.
Absolutely. But here's the thing: is they're not part of the same. They're not the part of the same union, right?
Yeah. No, and that's just
which
like
is going to be a dovetail to our next story. A little bit of a foreshadowing, but we're not quite there yet. You're right. You want to build cross solidarity between these groups. But there is also a thing is that voice actors have been, have more of the, cultural acceptance of unions, right? Then, that whereas unions is still in the nascent phase within the larger development portion of the industry. So
you have to remember that
we're seeing more, but not enough of them at these big companies have that protection. So their livelihoods are going to be affected. We know, obviously, with the crazy amount of layoffs and studio closures, that the video games industry has never been more volatile. That this window, like keeping the timeline in this way, lets developers, the development side of it, plan more securely for they're like,
Yeah.
okay, we don't have as of right now, we can't count on, performance as being, a performance schedule until contracts are settled. So we need to like reevaluate how we're developing. So it gives them a little bit more wiggle room, basically.
And I think you're, you know, those are all the considerations, is like, what you had pointed out of putting, time sensitive, like some sort of urgency in the management of like, you're not going to be able to get these games out. I do think, this is kind of uh, a weird spot that doesn't present as much urgency as, I would like. But I do see that other side of, you do at some point want to be able to bring the developers in and get them, that cross solidarity. So not harming them in this first instance in order to, on their, later or in different negotiations, get them on your side, is definitely like a bargaining consideration there, on the part of the striking voice actors. I'm sure, at least makes sense. And like, some of these games that are in development now aren't, they're going to be out in like 2026.
Right. The ones that are being affected by this are, they are not,
Yeah, I'm
with-
definitely not sitting here saying that the September 2023 cutoff is lame, because I want it to be more, so that more games get delayed so I can get through more of a backlog. I'm not making any accusations.
I have a personal investment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Selfish investment. Yeah. Too many games.
There's too many games, folks.
Those were touched on one of the two things I wanted to also bring up there, which first was, yes, with this cutoff date, like really we're talking about the game cycle not being impacted until like 2026, 2027, with how long.
I mean, they say
these
that, but
development
like
cycles are.
they were like, oh, the movie cycle won't be impacted by the SAG-AFTRA strikes, and then like you look at the movie landscape of the past couple of years, like, you sure? You sure it wasn't impacted?
A movie development cycle is way quicker than what most of these games are now at this
Yep.
point.
And they're fine
talking
putting
18
out
months.
slop really quick. They could do it on a shorter
once
timeline.
they start actual production, right?
Yeah.
Talking about like script treatments and that type
Right,
of shit.
right.
But like,
once it's being made,
yeah, they could do it pretty quick if they want to.
Yeah,
that was the first thing there. And then the second thing is like something that hasn't been mentioned yet, but part of me assumes that date is something that's set in the collective bargaining.
no,
like,
it was in a contract somewhere.
Yeah, that's
That's kind of what I figured, but
yeah,
that it was
they probably were
negotiated
bound
for.
to something with their prior agreements, with how far
And
back those strikes can impact.
I want to
and
go
I'm-
back and look at which games started development in September 2023 and whose studio fought the hardest to get that date nailed in.
Right. I'm like, what game was being started in August of 2023?
But it might be just like Andrew said, I don't know what contract it comes from, or like what portion of the negotiations. I'm not well versed enough in that portion of like strike laws. But it may have been something like in the contract that if they were to strike, that there's a 8-9 month, whatever the fucking calculation is, look back
270 days prior to the strike authorization.
Here's an interesting thing here. So that some of the game, I don't know if this bit is talking about all of the games prior to September 2023. I think this is just about live service games are being factored into the exemption with a further
the new change in monetization means they don't get paid the same way anymore.
But with a further stipulation that if the strike lasts more than 60 days, that ongoing performances in live service games will come to a halt.
Good. bring down Fortnite.
They're even
Yeah.
voice acting in Fortnite.
Yeah, dude, you ever heard Peter Griffin?
There's gonna be voice acting in the fucking Concord live service game.
No, I was about to make a joke that it would be based of Sony to like destroy all documents of them working on that game before September 2023, and then indefinitely delaying it and being like, "We're gonna stand in solidarity with the strike and not release this game."
Convenient. Man, that's not a story I want to get into, but like, oh man, that's going to be a dumpster fire. And that just because that just made me think of like they're trying to be unique in that game of doing like this is a story focused live service game where we're dropping weekly cinematics and shit, and like some people have like called out like, yo, that is a really bad use of resources for a game that is like that was getting like sub 2,000 players in its free open beta.
Free.
Overwatch released like 3 cinematics a year, and it was too much for Blizzard to be able to keep up with.
Yeah,
along with like maintaining game updates and releasing
fucking
characters.
Blizzard, yeah, fucking Blizzard, man. You know, like the OGs of like the ongoing service game. That's
they legitimately released a statement like 2 years into it, and we're like, guys, we can't, please,
mercy, please, uncle.
Okay, so let's move on. We already talked about it. How we foreshadowed that hopefully we see again this kind of cross solidarity emerging from all these different subsects of the game industry, because we're seeing more and bigger unions, more insignificant ones that recently just announced and were recognized. Andrew, is this one of yours? I mean, you already did a bit of the strike, but
that's I can run us through at least the kind of details here. So two hell yeah snaps, 2 additional unions in the gaming industry,
and pretty historic ones too, at least for the Blizzard one. It's like the first like wall to wall.
These are substantial.
Oh my god, they need to rethink their name.
What is it?
It's a mouthful.
Yeah.
It's like the
Communications Workers of America Local 9510.
Well, that's the technical one, but no, it's like World of Warcraft Creators something Union. It's insane.
Yeah, I was gonna say CWA is what the union is.
Yeah, they're the ones who are doing all these things, but that's like the technical one. But like, the independent name is like about like it's like World of Warcraft something 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 something. It's like really long. I'm gonna look up the whole thing.
World of Warcraft Union for people who want a union good and want to learn to union.
The article I have doesn't have that actual name in it.
No,
so you'll have to bring it up.
I'm looking at it here.
But yeah, Blizzard.
Okay, I got it here. The acronym is WOWGG/CWA. So
it's too much.
It's World of Warcraft Game Makers Guild.
That's not terrible.
It's too many letters. It's too long. It's too long.
For the acronym, sure.
Yo, imagine signing into a union and being like, I'm in the World of Warcraft Guild, but I work on Diablo.
Yeah. But yeah, they did Guild for a reason, right? That they were feeling themselves being like, oh, we gotta have Guild as part of our name because now we're a real life guild, which that's good. I like that.
I'm in the WoW GG union.
The Gamer Guild.
Blizzard World of Warcraft.
Hold on. Before we go forward,
they definitely unionized because of like just making sure like, hey, Microsoft isn't going to get rid of all of us, right? All right.
But can you imagine going back to like 1400s, like Florence, Italy, Tuscany, the birth of like guilds as having power, and telling them that in the future there will be a group of crusty, smelly,
you've been stabbed 4 times already, and they are parading your corpse through the streets, screaming, "Which?"
Yeah, how do you say that in Italian?
Yeah, they make
That word I
games
couldn't say earlier.
Yeah. For sure.
But yeah, so Blizzard unionized the World of Warcraft. They're 500 employees strong in this union now. And as Ben said, it's wall to wall, and this is a long time coming. It's a great accomplishment for the organizers here. One of them, Tom Smith, who's a senior director in the union and part of, I believe, the testers group. Yeah, he's a test analyst who's been there for over 6 years. Said that as a test analyst, he was only earning 55 grand annually in Irvine, California, which is not a fucking cheap place to live.
No,
No, I was about to say that's like
that's probably
poverty
like
wage.
that's probably
literally.
poverty line in Irvine. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
especially
So,
if he has children and like if it's more than a one-person home, without a
Mhm.
doubt, under the
Mhm.
poverty line.
So this is sorely
Yo,
needed.
imagine being like, I'm a QA developer for Blizzard, and I'm viewed in my relationship as like the dead weight earner.
But yeah, so sorely needed. Great win at Activision Blizzard. And it's not the only great union news. We also had Bethesda Game Studios, which was, I also believe, a wall-to-wall unionization effort there as
Yep.
well.
it's
was like
across
200
it's
plus people.
across disciplines. I know
Yeah.
that, yeah, but I
Yeah.
don't know if there was somebody like it didn't get the same publicized. What? It
Do
didn't
you
get the
think
same
John
publicity
Microsoft was sitting
for
at his
that.
desk
So
and got the
Yeah.
news, and they were like, a second union has hit the Microsoft Game Studios?
Fuck, we need to make that. You need to make that meme.
Yeah,
Do it.
I didn't
Matt,
see
that's
that
your
one
homework.
get posted.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
so
your homework, Matt.
more than 200 developers at Bethesda have officially decided to form a union. This one was like near unanimous. They both were essentially near unanimous.
okay, I
At
don't
least
think it's
of the
wall. I don't think
voters.
it's wall to wall because QA had already
Had already.
unionized across
Okay.
ZeniMax.
Okay.
So it's like effectively the kind of the same thing, but technically
In different units.
Yeah, they are still separated as different bargaining units.
Yes, got it. That's fair. But yeah, another great win for the workers at Bethesda. Matt, you bring up an interesting thing, which is Microsoft has taken this stance of just recognizing these unions from the onset and not fighting against it. And
Yeah, they're fighting in a different way. They're
Yeah,
sending
well-
in like corporate espionage and
I just do wonder, like, what is the breaking point? Because at some point they are going to be like, whoa, 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 this is too much.
it's going to happen when King
many of you.
unionizes.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's like when it seeps out of the gaming sphere into the bit that actually makes them money.
Bill Spencer unionizes all of Xbox in an attempt not to get fired.
Yeah, himself included. Yeah, I'm a
So
worker. I'm
Yeah.
a worker too.
He's like, we need to include management in this.
Yeah, but no,
I'm with you guys.
Yeah,
I didn't
Everyone
put us
but
here.
the board.
I think it's because that Microsoft still treats the gaming division as the ginger-headed stepchild, whereas
Yep.
you guys really aren't where we make our money, so you do what you want, you have fun. We already basically lose money on you guys anyway, so like what's another bill across the
No, as soon as the cloud service workers start talking about unionization efforts, it's over.
Then the Pinkertons are on speed dial, baby.
I mean, and also what they're gonna do is just then on the back end lobby for NLRB protections to get destroyed with whoever the next president
Sure,
is.
sure, yeah,
So
that's
so
yeah,
they're like, fuck it, let's not deal with it on the front end. Let's go to the shadows,
yeah. We
throw
are one
money
of
at
we are like
lobbyists.
one of like the top three, wealthiest companies in the world. We can
Yeah.
lobby as much as we fucking want. Like we can,
Yep,
destroy
and that will be easier. And then
labor
we've gotten
protections
the good
throughout.
press on the front end, and then on the back end, we don't have to worry about it because it's in the shadows. And oh, the NLRB says, we can't have any unions anymore. So I
Oops,
guess we'll just have to
sorry.
dissolve
Yeah,
these.
sorry, not my decision.
Oh,
Wait,
I
wait,
think-
wait! You're wrong though. You're wrong though, because it wouldn't be. We can't have unions anymore. The police union still needs to exist.
Oh, yeah. Yes, but
No.
they
Only
would find
unions
a
for
way.
public service workers who specifically gain military munitions.
Equipment.
If you carry a gun, you can for your job, you can be in a union.
No, but I ultimately think
All
that
of a
that's
sudden, every teacher starts arming.
Yeah, I mean, they already want that. The police and the chuds already want that. So, but I think that's ultimately the reason why, combination of it's not their moneymaker. They could get some good press out of just accepting the unions, and then on the
no.
back end, fucking
Meanwhile,
Totally.
they're
Totally.
just tainting on the bottom end too. Like I know when I worked for Redacted Aviation, some of the like anti-union stuff that they would show you at the beginning was always really funny.
Yeah, and they're obviously going to do that as much as they can while still being able to like just accept for the press, accept the union, and claim to negotiate in good faith and stuff. But
Like, I
their
visited a
their
union
goal is
shop.
to on the back end just destroy the ability to form unions, period.
I visited a union shop as part of my job there and had to sign a form that gave me like a list of responses for when people at my shop would ask what it was like.
Terrible.
And one of the responses was like, didn't seem like they were getting enough done.
Because
They were all lazy.
they met their quota and were out of there by 2 p.m.
Oh yeah, no, it was when we showed up. They were like, "Oh, you guys showed up at the wrong time."
They're
Because like
having
they're
a
pretty much all
siesta.
done for the day already.
Yeah, they're having a siesta.
There was a dude just eating a muffin, reading a newspaper in his area. And I was like, I emotionally react with this dude. Like me and him are the same person.
Yeah,
I am him, he is I.
Or we could just have the team up of American companies, and Boeing and Microsoft could come together and
start
just
killing your union activists.
Just decide the NRLB doesn't need to exist anymore. However they want to do that.
yeah, dude.
I thought you were
much
going a
money
whole
as they
different
can.
route with that. With
Boeing's got them shooters, baby.
Yeah, dude.
yeah, Microsoft announces a partnership with Boeing for Flight Simulator, and it's over, folks.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. That's
Done.
an apocalyptic
Vertical
world.
integration, baby.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this was
solidarity with our two new unions.
Yeah, and we
we
talked about, like, we were just talking about how Microsoft, is, or Xbox within Microsoft is still, ooh small bean thing that's like played out here, and what was my choice story of the week that like ties into larger Microsoft news. But like there was a one of the marketing leads for the Europe, Middle East and Africa markets basically came out and said, we don't get any fucking money for marketing. We've got to fucking fight for every dollar that we get.
Sony's the big guy over there, just throwing money like it's nothing.
Okay, here's the quote here. So they're talking about how PlayStation regrettably outspends Xbox in Europe, where yes, the PlayStation is by far the dominant console in Europe.
Yeah, you don't even see like console sale percentages for Europe that include Xbox as more than an outlier.
Which is why in the Activision buyout thing, why they did not care about giving like cloud stuff to Ubisoft in Europe, because it's like, we don't fucking sell shit in Europe anyways. So bye bye. Let
Europe
the
and
French take
Asia,
it. Yeah, let the French take the
all
the
Europe and
pittance.
Asian Xbox sales are just U.S. soldiers at bases.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They like getting the French like getting pissed on.
Like if you've ever seen videos of like video game stores in Japan, it'll be like wall to wall like Sony and Nintendo, and there will be this one like 3 game wide sliver of a booth for like
Just with Call
Xbox
of Duty.
peripherals.
Because it is the real and most based culture.
But let me continue with this quote, because we get to the funny line here. It says, they're blessed with marketing funds that we are just not able to enjoy. But that's totally fine. We adopt what I would call a more fiscally responsible approach to media investments. We're not blessed with huge media budgets, so we have to be quite scrappy, really, and quite tenacious to fight for funds that would probably go elsewhere. Like, how funny is that? Yeah, to hear, again, I said it already, like one of the top
imagine
3
hearing that your
most
boss
wealthy
thinks
companies.
he's scrappy.
Yeah.
Going and fighting for like $20,000 of a marketing budget, getting talked down to 12,000 and only receiving 8.
It's like, remember, I mean, the most recent Xbox release obviously was Hellblade, which has, sold absolute dog shit and was not fucking marketed. Their marketing for Hellblade was literally like a single tweet of like a really bad picture, a still image, not even a GIF, not even the really cringy. Like, I hate it when like the the PR and
God of
marketing
War gets
departments,
turned into memes.
when they give the programming staff, like, yes, please memify Kratos.
Make Kratos do the Nick Offerman.
Yeah. So it's I really don't like that shit. But like, yeah, they couldn't even do that for Hellblade. It was literally like a single tweet that they kept like reposting, maybe once a week.
I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, at least Microsoft is like forward about how little they care about some of their products. Like, at least they're not pretending like, oh yeah, go Hellblade, gonna be great, guys. It's like, oh fuck, that game's coming out next. I guess like give them a tweet or something. No fucking gameplay. Fucking take the picture. Take the picture off the wall.
Because if we show them any actually exciting gameplay, like that's like the most exciting thing you'll do in the entire game.
It's an actual percentage of the gameplay.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not here to shit on Hellblade 2, even though it's not great, folks. I'm like recently catching up on my backlog of Edge magazine. They gave it I've been edging. Yeah, they gave it a fucking 4. They gave Hellblade 2 a 4. It's like absolutely brutal, insanely brutal.
Not great.
Yeah, I just like think this one is very silly to see in one of the world's most profitable companies just talking about how, yeah, we got to be scrappy. Where
they just don't. They don't care. Xbox is a dying thing. It's
I would probably
be
fire
Microsoft
up
Gaming.
my resume at that point if I was like someone working under that branch.
Oh, for sure.
Be like, dude, that's it. It's over. Time to.
If I was working at Microsoft like that, I would have had my resume out already.
Yeah,
long been out.
At the very least,
it keeps getting turned down because they're like,
yeah.
working for Microsoft's marketing department in Europe, Middle East, and Asia is basically just working for like experience.
Yeah, it's an email job.
Yeah. Love me a good email.
Low pressure,
job.
no budget, low pressure.
Yeah.
Good at stretching the value of a dollar.
Do we
you know what else is good at stretching the value of a dollar?
Say the Game Pass the Game Pass increases. I was gonna say, do we talk about that? Game Pass price increases. So we talked about this on stream when it happened. Folks, go check us out at twitch.tv/campaign comrades. Well, we didn't talk about this because it was after the fact, but like the FTC has like filed new paperwork claiming that with the added, with these additional prices and the reduction of access to day one releases, that after post merger, that Game Pass is now a degraded product. I love that. I love that.
I mean, I don't know how you could argue it's not.
Yeah.
Like anyone who's like, but now you get online built into it. It's like you had to pay for that before anyway.
Yeah, they were the pioneers of doing that. Matt and I talked about it on stream, how people complained about the tier breakdown for PS Plus, and
infinitely more
the
confusing,
naming conventions and all that. And we admit, yeah, it's not the best, it's not great, and
it's just 3 tiers and they stack.
Yeah, and you could make the argument that yes, or the argument there is that yeah, the highest tier is not actually really kind of worth it. They're really just kind of starting to build that out. But yeah, the tiers, the different grandfather clauses and new stipulations on how long you can and how much you can stack subscriptions and all that has just made the Game Pass landscape so immensely confusing now. It's because you've got the core, this new one, standard, that doesn't have the day one release. You've got dude, PC users just stay winning. They have a minor price increase. They do have a minor price increase, $2 a month, $2 extra a month.
It's all built to push people to PC. They're
right.
They're intentionally trying to kill their console market to move away from it.
Ultimate, I think, still has a slightly bigger catalog, if I remember correctly, because there was something weird with the tie-ins with something like EA Play and stuff like that you had more access through Ultimate to some things, but versus PC, that why some PC users still chose Ultimate over the PC version, even if they didn't have a console. That had some value, but again, that was even before all this mess. Another source of confusion of who is and what is available where. It's again, we always talked about how marketing is an important thing, particularly when you're talking about oh yeah, grandma needs to buy,
and Xbox has the hardest fucking marketing to understand of any of the consoles.
the new game, but physical games are a dying thing now. Andrew, thank you, it's your fault. Grandma can't buy Timmy a physical game anymore, but she can try to buy him a gift card for Game Pass, but oh no, I just bought you the online version. I bought you the core
I only
version.
bought you core.
I only bought you core.
I bought you 3 years of Game Pass core.
I thought that was everything. I thought that sounds better to me. It's got everything you need, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Timmy. All right,
Grandma, these codes expired 2 years ago.
He's yeah, you got me 15 months and I can't stack that many now, Grandma.
The man at Walmart lied to you, Grandma.
Yeah, he upsold you, Grandma. God damn it.
I can only stack these if I slurp 4 of them.
Now I have to say the Doritos
do the do.
Man, so
it's one of my favorite online memes.
Well, it's probably had some sort of resurgence after the Diet Mountain Dew is racist thing. I just love it. We love it.
The only Mountain Dew I acknowledge is Mountain Dew Baja Blast Gelato.
I bet that's actually unironically very good.
Yeah. I'm kind of down with that idea.
Yeah.
I mean, if you fed that to a child, they would not stay silent. I'll tell you that. Do you know who does stay silent? Certain protagonists in JRPGs.
Folks, we were struggling before we started recording. Is how are we going to segue into this final story here? But Matt, he did it. He's somehow he did it. Yeah, Matt, bring us home. What's our What's the deal with silent protagonists? Do we like them? Do we hate them? Are they here to stay?
It was a broader discussion about the difficulties of increasing graphics and making it harder to have a silent protagonist, not look stupid, standing around.
When I just read the headline, I'm like, yeah, they talking about just photorealism and stuff like that, and they are not actually talking about that. They have an update in this article that realism discussed refers to things like graphics switching from 2D to 3D, becoming more detailed and expressive, not a switch from stylized to photorealistic graphics. Because this was the Dragon Quest and Atlas people in a conversation together.
I mean, that's more or less the topic at hand, though. It becomes, as modern time moves forward, do we have, it brought the discussion to, do we have room for the silent protagonist anymore? Do we need voice acting or, the illusion of choice in dialogue with a silent protagonist now?
They make the immersion argument, right? That is what all these things always come down to. And I always find that argument to be wanting, whether it be over the first or third person or
I have a whole thing about dude, you're not being immersed in a cartoon video game. Nothing will happen to change the fact that you are looking at a TV with a controller in your hand, not performing the action. That barrier will not physically disappear no matter how good the graphics get.
But also my
VR, man.
But my creative brain is also able to be yes, I'm capable of keeping the distance between myself and the character and still, embrace the fantasy of, somebody else, and whether it's something that's more fully realized through a voice character.
So I have two things. One, I never really like these immersion arguments because, yes, I think there's a difference between being engaged with the material and being immersed.
Make it good writing, just write good.
Yeah. If I'm engaged, that's the goal.
Yeah, because here's a fun one. Everyone's like, oh, I want my protagonist to have a voice. So are we sure we wanted what's her face to have a voice in Forspoken?
Well, so that's what I also want to ask. Is a clarifying
that's not because
question.
It was bad voice acting. That was because it was bad writing, right? That's what it comes down to. People actually praised her performance, right?
Yeah.
It's the material that she was given,
So that's my clarifying question though. When we're saying a silent protagonist, are we purely speaking from a voice acted perspective, or are we speaking from a protagonist that does not have dialogue?
When I think of the traditional silent protagonist, I think of Link from the Zelda series.
That's what I think of as well. So
where people will have dialogue to you as a character, and your character does not
literally does not say
anything back to them,
There's
and
no
you can
dialogue
kind of
option. That's what I think of as a silent protagonist too. And I think
that's what the Dragon Quest
take
hero is.
But take RPG ones. When I was reading this article, I'm thinking about Baldur's Gate,
right?
And I'm thinking yes, it's more work. It would have been more because they would have had to do all of these permutations of voice lines with all the different voice options that you have for your protagonist character. That's a lot. That is a lot. But they already had so many voice actors doing so many fucking lines of dialogue, and with how successful this game was, maybe they could have done it in hindsight. And would I have preferred my character to be voiced in that game? Yes, absolutely. Because it's you're not just this cipher where you're not choosing, when you're choosing dialogue, they're saying what you choose no matter what. So it's versus a fully scripted.
I always hate it when it's a voice acted game and then you choose a dialogue option, and what you choose as the dialogue option is not the tone of what is said in
Yeah,
And
that
it's
is.
like, ooh, I'll take. I'm sorry. That sounds like the thing. I'm apologetic, and it's like, ugh. I'm sorry. I guess that you were offended, bitch.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I don't like it when they just kind of paraphrase, but then when there's like the tonal, but that could happen when it's not voiced either, where it's like that they.
That's where my autism gets
yeah,
triggered.
I sometimes autistically misinterpret the intention and tone that certain. I mean, like, oh, this sounds like I'm trying to be like apologetic or um whatever, but no, it comes off as sarcastic. It's actually
Yeah.
meant to be read as sarcastic, and sometimes that's an issue with localizations from
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say
Eastern to
localization,
Western games, and that
but
happens a lot.
but they should
This is how
then
all of
put
my
as
older coworkers feel whenever I'm making jokes to them in meetings.
I mean, but as part of that localization process, because like especially if the the original word conveyed in the original language conveyed the tone that would be said, and then in the English it doesn't. We need some parentheses that says sarcasm or
The tone the tone markers that autistic
yeah,
people use, yeah.
yeah,
Is-
yeah.
That I will admit make me
Accessibility
uncomfortable.
issues.
They're accessibility things, but they make me like it's something. It's an internalized ableism that I
Yeah.
got to get over. It's like it makes me uncomfortable when people use those because it's like, yeah, I understand.
Is that
what
like
you're saying.
/s? Because people use that on Reddit to
Yes,
denote
yes.
sarcasm.
Because it
That-
emerged. It
that's
emerged. It emerged through online discourse where tone cannot be read.
As an
Um,
autist that has trouble with tone being read sometimes, I do enjoy the parentheses. The /s, that I don't like that
I
bullshit.
usually see them as
but-
slash. Yeah, it's like that, but that's
I mean,
because that's where they came from. Is from
I've
online
never
forums.
This is
seen
why I
it,
like
I
to send
just
my
use it
sense of
myself
humor via
to
text
convey.
because it's just a complete coin flip on whether or not I'm being serious or
Yeah.
sarcastic, and you have to roll with it.
I'm guessing every
Yeah.
time. For you,
Yeah,
I'm
same.
guessing all the time.
Same. Your delivery on sarcasm versus non-sarcasm is the same most of the time.
That
Just dry.
difference is
It
razor
works so
thin.
well in work
Yeah.
meetings because people will be
Oh,
like,
sure.
I understand the words he's saying, but
Yeah.
I don't understand how he's saying the words.
Yeah. I'm sure
So yeah,
that's a lot
my
of fun.
baseline assumption with all of you is sarcasm first, and then you'll correct me
Yeah,
if that's
is that
the
I'm
wrong
being
read.
that I'm being
Yeah.
I'm being silly first. That's usually
Yeah.
how I operate.
That's the correct operating protocol.
But I come down on the side of I prefer voiced protagonists because even if it's like a
Same.
highly scripted game with no dialogue choices, I find this I'm quote unquote immersed more in the story when it feels like it's fully kind of reciprocal in that way. Um,
That's why you don't like
it's
Mario
jarring to me.
platformers.
It's jarring to me when like I say nothing and my
Yep.
character just gestures. Like,
Yeah,
I find
I agree.
like the argument that they make
Wow,
here is
that's another internalized ableism right there.
Probably.
if they were doing sign language, they could say they could denote, tone that way. There are ways to do that. But no, I come down on voice protagonists all the time. I think I am more engaged that way.
Without a doubt.
I think it unquestionably improves engagement, but I don't think it makes or breaks a game.
I mean,
I'd
it
agree
comes
with
down to
that, yeah.
again.
Depends on the game though.
Yeah, it
sure
again
in
just
some
comes down
games.
to direction. Like art direction carries so much of what your presentation is. So like that's why like I don't care that Link is mute in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom because those games in their presentation handle it fine. It's like I can fill in the gaps for what, my mute little femboy is saying to this giant rock man.
I mean, Link's canonically a sub too, so like he wouldn't have an opinion.
This is very true. He is very submissive and breedable.
Yeah, if we went to Link's room in Hyrule Castle, you'd find his canonical ball gag
And
and
Gimp
Superman
suit.
shirt.
I find that most particularly RPGs, I would still say that I would find them improved through voice acting.
And
Through a voiced protagonist. I don't need
I
to like
think
necessarily think of like I don't need to be like, oh yeah, I'm the guy, he's me type of
Yeah.
thing. That's not what
Yeah.
I'm there for.
You are I, and I am him. We have entered
I
this
still
binding
I still
contract.
control I still control what's going on, right? But like in order to be an interactive storytelling medium, I find it better. Like it's why I enjoy in general voice acted games to text only.
Yeah.
See, that's where
Agreed.
it gets interesting, though, is because text
like
only, you can get
Pokemon.
your silent
Fuck
protagonist,
off.
but he can be saying things.
Like yeah, I don't like the ones where yeah, it's like it is weird and it is immersion breaking to me when they are treated as being as communicating, but just we don't hear it. To me, it's
Yep.
just like why not? I remember like
I
someone
think
this I've seen like this is not a new discussion or argument or whatever about the voice protagonist, but I like watched a video on it when we covered Half-Life and people were talking about like, is it good or bad that Gordon is a voice protagonist? I think it was actually Yahtzee was like talking about it was like he was like talking about Dead Space and Half-Life and a bunch of different games. It was like talking about a voice protagonist, and it's like it's weird to just like have them not say anything and just like to be treated like just everything's going
Unless,
normally.
of
And
course, it is literally the Doom guy because he's just a dumb animal that
yeah, he
rips
just
and
rips and tears,
tears.
and that's it. That's all he can do. Yeah, so that's where I come down on it. I think we're largely in agreement.
Definitely.
All I've got to say is I'm very curious to see what Dragon Quest 12 is going to look like with all the things they've said and have been saying.
Yeah, like I think I don't think it's a problem in the way that they think it is. It's a logistics thing, right? In an RPG with dialogue choices, it's just a shit ton of work,
mhm.
to get the protagonist to be voiced. Because you got to do
No, you see,
you got to do
that's why
all
we got to use AI,
permutations.
because then it's
Yeah,
not a
yeah,
shit ton of work.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Man, I can't wait for my RPG protagonist to have the AI voice. I've like somehow stumbled on some like YouTube channels that like are using like the AI voice.
There are thousands of YouTube channels, if not
And
millions.
like I
That
immediately get the uncanny valley and just like
Yeah.
downvote and leave.
There was one I was watching during the NBA playoffs, and it tipped me off immediately because within the first 30 seconds, it called him Stephon Curry. It was like, okay, you silly robot.
No
Just
more out
always
of you.
so interested by the like seeing yourself as the protagonist when playing games.
Mhm.
Like when I play games,
It's
I'm
kind
a
of a
golden god.
problematic thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you
Yeah,
can have your thoughts, but you're gonna do what I fucking make you.
yeah, right. It comes down to a similar kind of. I think you need to have a healthy detachment from these
Yeah.
things. You can still be engaged and quote unquote immersed in the world, but
Yeah,
like
I don't want someone who's like, yo, I'm Kratos from God of War 3.
yeah, it's the weird
Literally me.
yeah, it's a weird parasocial thing that I find uncomfortable and I don't like it. It's like that these characters are my actual friends. Where it's like, no,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but
go get real friends, connect with them over the stories that you like.
Well, yeah, dude,
Connect with
that's like
real
that.
people through
but
stories,
that's with books
Remember that
too.
thing I
That's the
sent
Harry
that was
Potter
the
fans.
No, I absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
talking it's like
Yeah.
it's emblematic of a larger thing that I don't
Yeah.
like.
Well, that was I sent it was like a Reddit comment that was like, what ways do you think AI could like genuinely like help in the future? It was like, I genuinely think that AI could create like limitless like
Friends.
dialogue options in games where you could just like talk to people like forever.
It's like,
And it's
yo,
like that's
go talk
go
to a real
talk to
person.
someone outside.
Oh.
You don't even have to touch
Talk to a
grass.
real human being.
You don't even have to touch grass. I know that some of you are allergic. Just like,
Pick
but
up a
just talk.
phone at
Yeah,
least.
talk to a real person inside.
Yeah.
I have a coworker who because he views my hobby as like online terminal gamer. Uh he genuinely is like, do
Smart.
you like not go outside? So like I'll be outside with him and I'll be like, dude, why is there carpet out here? What is this?
Oh my God, what is this color of this flower? I've never seen this
See-
before. This is red.
Literally, this
The air is so clean, and I don't like it. And where's my Cheetos?
I need
There's no Cheeto dust and asbestos in the air.
I need my recycled farts, please.
Yeah.
All right, folks. I think that's going to do it for us today. It's been
The
a good
episode
one.
title: I need my Cheetos and recycled farts.
Yeah. Yeah, folks, go out, play your games, but then go and talk to other people about them.
Yeah.
That's the healthy way to be.
And the realization here is, don't just go to an online forum. Those are not always other people.
Yes. Or your friends.
That's just me with 10 different sock accounts.
Yeah.
What you have discovered is me and my 8 schizophrenic
do bad
personalities
things.
having a discussion.
Yeah, try to bait you into doing bad things.
Yeah.
All right. Until then, though, we will see you next time when we are covering Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I will not be replaying it, but I will be watching some stuff to refresh my memory on the story, because I did enjoy it. And we were talking about, well-written games with fully voiced characters, and that had
games
some
got a bad
level of
reputation
dialogue
because of a prior game that wasn't related.
Yeah. All right, so you have that to look forward to, and more in the future. We will see you